この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and it has been a while, but we are back for Mobile Suit Gundam, starting with episode 36. Apologies for the large delay. Everything has been delayed. If you didn't get the memo, I have been super duper sick for a couple of weeks, so everything I was unable to record, and that's that. But we're back now, and I'm doing everything in my power to avoid getting sick again, because it sucks, and to get back on the recording train and watch some of the things that we haven't been watching, including Mobile Suit Gundam. So, here we are for episode 36 of Mobile Suit Gundam, titled, it might be a little bit of a spoiler of a title, but we'll get it at the beginning of the episode anyway, but it is Big Zam's Last Stand. So, shockingly, it looks like Admiral Dozel is probably not going to survive this one, but we got the biggest death flags in the entire universe already, so that's not really a terrible surprise to anybody here. Okay, before we get into this, I had to spend some time, because it's been so long since we watched some Gundam, and because the last couple of episodes were a little bit weird in some ways, I had to spend some time going back through those episodes and refreshing where we are in the point of the story and what's really going on at the moment. It's a weird point in Gundam because we had the whole, weirdness with them rewriting the story to fit a different set of episodes and a different length and stuff, and we have the horrible problems of Yas hurting himself and being hospitalized and not being a part of the production anymore. So everything's kind of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey weird at this point in Gundam, but still things are occurring, and interesting things are occurring, and let's talk about them. So, in episode 34, we met Lala and also Char, because we had a cool, enemies get to run in with each other without particularly knowing that each other are enemies and get to talk and, have this moment together thing, which is, super cool. I really like that idea. And then everything else becomes a blur because I completely lost it because of Sleggar Law running across the ship to smack the fuck out of Mirai, which broke me. It straight broke me, and I have no excuses for that except that it was bonkers and absolutely rocked my entire universe. Sleggar Law is the first character in a long time who's been able to do that shit to me, and honestly, I enjoyed the hell out of it, but it definitely, I probably, was very fun for people to watch, but maybe not the, most serious take on the episode as it played out. Regardless, we then proceeded to leave the neutral side 6 where all of these things happened, and leaving Cameron behind because no, and off we went to join an Armada fleet thing, and perform a huge major military operation, sort of in a little bit of a narratively rushed fashion, to attack Solomon the fortress, and moving us into episode 35, Glory of Solomon. We begin to mount this gigantic fleet operation on this enormous asteroid fortress thing. We set up a really cool super solar laser, which honestly, it's like a Death Star laser and could have been a whole plot point for 20 episodes around build the laser, get the materials to get the laser is part of the thing that we need to do. Protect the laser as we bring it into position from different attackers, and then set up the laser and protect it while it's being set up, and all. And it just, none of that happens. It's just they came up with the idea on the spot, and we're like, cool big laser thing, big sun laser, sick. And it's super dope, but it's just kind of out of nowhere, and that feels like a loss to me. I mean, it works, it's great, it's fine, but it does feel like a loss to me. I personally could write a 12 episode segment of the anime around that laser being an important asset and serious military thing that they have to deal with, and is a huge part of stuff, but whatever. It's at least as important for this battle in some ways as White Base being there or the Gundam being there. It's such crazy military technology to have this super secret mirror laser monstrosity that shoots down a whole whatever. I'm on it, and now I'm off it. It doesn't matter. It was super rad, and it blew up a bunch of stuff, and it was super dope. Okay, great. Dozel, we find out a little bit more about this big, gruff, cleft chin, scarred up admiral guy and member of the Zabi family. Important. We'll see how that turns out, and whether Char does anything about that, I don't know. But he makes a couple of particularly interesting choices over the course of this. One of them is kind of an expected one. He refuses, when asked by one of his subordinates, he refuses to ask Caecilia, his sister, and I think older sister, for aid. And Caecilia has been like kind of our in the background big bad for a while. Like it's been her forces and people loyal to her that have been thwarting us and in our way and killing our people and fucking shit up, right? But Dozle here refuses to ask her for aid, which is arrogant of him for sure, but also demonstrates the sort of infighting nature of what we could consider a might makes right sort of an evilish society that we see in the Zeons, which is interesting. We got a weird moment between Hayato and Frau Bo where they like had a real serious talk about some stuff, and it does make me wonder some things about like the two of them, and is that a thing? I don't know. And now Amuro is busting into the Solomon Station with the Gundam, as well as I think it's not the gun tank that's with him because it got hurt, and that's why Hayato got hurt. It's the gun cannon with Kai who's busting in with him, right? And I think maybe a couple of the GMs, like the mass-produced Gundams. But he is busting in. Char is at this point, as far as I know, on the way. I'm not completely clear. I don't completely remember exactly how that happened, but he is on the way because he's fucking Char. And Dozle has run up to a hangar and seen Big Zam, which is a big beefy robot armored boy. And I'm excited to see what it can do. After, of course, he has sent his family and presumably his heir, whoever his child is, and wife or wives. It's kind of unclear what their whole relation, like, are they handmaids to the wife? They're all dressed really well, so I don't know. But clearly his wife and his child have been sent away. So they are presumably safe and going somewhere else. And also we'll have the chance to deliver news about Dozle to somebody else, which could lead to some kind of repercussions or retaliation or something along those lines. But I don't know. I don't know how much the Zabi family cares about each other, right? Like, it's kind of unclear. And that's basically where we left off. Amuro is busting into this station. Amuro is also a magical boy, and that has been revealed over the course of these episodes. He is a significantly magical boy, and it's in a new way, and we don't know exactly what the limitations of it are, but it reveals to us some of why he's been such an effective pilot, and we've been throwing in these little flashes and lightning jolts and stuff as he realizes things that he has no right to know, but has every right to find out through magical psionic psychic powers, which is pretty cool. He has only up to this point heard in his mind the thoughts of Lala, which is interesting. I don't know what the deal is with that. Maybe it's just because they're both psychic and she's like more come into her power and is able to express herself to him in that way. But clearly he feels some kind of a connection to this other person in a way that he doesn't feel a connection to, honestly, pretty much anybody else. He's kind of adrift, and that connection comes at a time when he's realizing that his father is no longer the man he used to be, and he's kind of adrift in more ways than one, which makes for an interesting point in his character's journey. I'm not sure where we're going to go from there, but it is an interesting point in his character's journey. Regardless, Amuro is busting in, and thank you to the people who corrected me. I said that I wish that there was a little bit more setup for that, but honestly, the setup is effective, and those little jolts of inspiration that he's been getting have actually been happening for more than a few episodes. So I was simply wrong when I called that out as like, oh, this is kind of out of nowhere. Simply straight up wrong. And there's also the stuff with the testing that they did on him and it taking way longer than anybody else's, and like there's an implication there. Clearly this idea was brewing in the background. I do think that there's some stuff that could be done more interestingly to set this up. Like, again, Amuro having information that he should have no way of knowing is part of it, but people also shouted out the moment where Amuro puts on all his gear and shit before Hamon comes and attacks them as being a crucial moment where Amuro seems to know something that nobody else seems to know, and I buy it. I'm down to buy it. I'm cool with that. Sure. I took it as him actually just putting on his uniform in a way that was like, I'm ready to be a part of the crew again, but it is rather coincidental that it's right before he's needed. However, of course, he's always needed because people are always attacking because we got to keep that one battle per episode sort of vibe, at least one battle per episode sort of vibe going on in order to keep up and have enough Gundam transformation sequences and sell enough Gundam toys. But you get where I'm coming from here? Like, there are reasons to think that it's not anything, and yet there are reasons to think in retrospect that it is something, and frankly, I think that's a good thing. I think that it's better than just having an obvious moment where Amuro's like, I sense something coming, when we can have a justification for it outside of that, and then look back on it in the future and be like, oh, maybe Amuro realized something was up without consciously realizing something was up. So I think that's pretty cool. And I think it works better than I gave it credit for, and I'm willing to give it that credit if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Cool. That's all I have to talk about here. We are attacking the fortress, and we're going in. I don't know what else is going to happen over the course of the episode. I think Char will probably arrive at some point during this one, but I don't know what he's going to be able to do here. Like, his army is full losing, partly because the solar laser, partly because of the mass-produced GMs, and partly because, like, it's just a huge fleet attacking a fortress. It's working. So we'll see. We'll have to watch and find out. I will say that I don't know if I'm going to watch more than one episode today. In part, I think that will be because I don't know whether this is like the end of an arc. If this feels like it's like there's some finality to the fortress, and like I'm just assuming that our characters are going to win here. Like, I don't know that they will, but it is called Big Zam's Last Stand, so I'm like, a little bit less suspense there. If there's some finality to this one, I'll probably stop here because I have a feeling that we'll jump into like the next arc in a moment, and like things will start heating up in a different way. So I'll probably just watch one episode if that's the case. If it feels like we move into another portion of the story at the end of this episode, then we'll probably watch some more. Cool? Cool. And a part of that is I'm still not 100%, and my throat is not 100%, and I've been talking for a while, but the more I talk, the more likely it is that I like ruin my voice or go into coughing fits, and I don't want to do either of those things because I want to keep on the train of at least getting some recordings done, getting things out every day, so that, you know, the channel keeps going and it doesn't just like and stuff, you know? Like that, yeah. Okay, let's watch episode 36 of Mobile Suit Gundam. I've got it up and ready to go. It's at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions of this reaction, as always. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, linked in the description, if you want to just sync it up. And there will be the timer-based version up on YouTube, which will have all the discussion and goodness on it. If you'd like to sync up your own copy of these episodes with the timer-based version, you are more than encouraged to do so. Go ahead and get that copy ready because the beep beep timer to count you down will be coming at you right now. Let's go. Let's get into it. Finally, I get to hear this OP again. I'm really psyched about that. All right, let's go. Also going to turn it up a little bit past 100%. Always. Sorry, just adding sound effects, you know, like you do. Oh yeah, the sparkle field. Ah. Yes. Super sick. Solar Ray, sister or brother of Amuro Ray. Okay. Last stand of Big Zam. We know that. Oh, jeez. What are those? Oh, those are sick. They're like Modrons. Hmm. You alright, Mirai? Sir, yes, sir. Whom? Hey. Hey? Okay. Now, is that gonna be a thing? Interesting. Oh, wow. Wow, so we've got a rando piloting the ship? I don't know if I love that. Ooh, I like that. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Slagar. Ha ha ha. What does that mean? He's in the green room. Baga. America. Glad we got this McDonald's vending machine. Hmm? Hmm. Man, their relationship is so fucking weird. What? What? No! 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 God, no! No, dude, no! Mirai! Mirai, 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 Mirai. Bro, finish your burger. Fuck. Okay. He's gonna die. Is he gonna die? That feels like a death flag. Wow, he's letting her down. What? What? Yeah, well, I agree. Oh. So now he's being cute. I don't fucking get it. What's your fucking deal, Slagger? Ah, bruh. He's super gonna die, isn't he? Oh, wow. Oh, ooh, ah, ooh, oh, ooh. Ah, ooh. Ah, ooh. Ah. Ah! Ah! Fuck, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. I shouldn't have done that. I should have done that scream. I couldn't help it. Fuck, 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 fuck. Oh. What the fuck, man? Okay. Oh, hi, buddy. Hello, McVeigh. Ya motherfucker. Those are some cool ships. Fuck, I really fucked myself up. I really fucked myself up with that one scream. I did it wrong. Boom. Let's go, Kai. Ooh. I've made a mistake. Oh, that was cool. Oh, God. Oh, hello. The big boy. Oh, God. The big laser boy. It's still gonna fuck your shit up, dude. You do not know their strength. The strength of Big Zam. Oh, wow, he's got crew. Huh. Oh, fuck. That's a lot of beam. Indeed. Oh, God. Oh, I don't like it. It reminds me of, like, Cell. You know? Like DBZ Cell. But early form. That's not a lot of laser. This is a lot of beam. You want beam? Fuck you, wall. I'm staying. Oh, I'm staying. I think he said you're naive. He said, am I not? Wife and child, I assume. We're gonna cut to them? Maybe. No, this is Makavan stuff, right? Oh, they're probably arriving there. The escape pod. So they will get the chance to deliver information. Coleslaw. Oh, wait. Like this. Just keeping his hand on his face. Bruh. The fuck you say? Look, it's Rambarel light. Fine, grab him. Yep. Oh, he's so sweaty. Bleep, 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 bleep. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, they're not even conscious, yeah. I guess because of the G-forces. Or something. Hello. Ah, Minerva is the daughter. I wonder if she'll be a recurring character in the far future. When there are more Gundam. Shows. You know? That would be interesting. More beam. Fuck. Oh, it can. Oh, God. That's bad. That's not a beam. This is a beam. I wonder what all the other ports are as well. Damn right. Three-quarters gone. That's bad. Huh? Wow. But they're running? Interesting. Dozel is interesting to me, man. He's trying to get his people out. Not just to stand and fight forever, right? Like, that's what I expect. I expected Blood Knight from him. I expected, like, I look forward to dying in glorious battle and all of you will die. No, he's fighting to get his people out. Kind of like him. Okay, that's our halfway point. What are they going to use? Okay. Don't worry about the escaped. They're not a threat anymore. Seeming a little arrogant there, bud. Wow, I love that shot. Go after Big Zam. Let's go, Amuro. Oh, boy. The chicken walker itself. Oh, buddy. Just watch another GM get evaporated. Oh, that's such a great shot. Itano, maybe? Oh. Oh, wow. Cool, 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 cool. I mean, it's funky looking, but it's scary. I give it to Big Zam. It's crazy. Oh, is the solar system the solar ray? I suppose. Ooh, ooh. Some pretty shots. Wow. Going for broke. Going hard. Hey. Yeah, you get out of here. It's not? Ah. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's bad. It's got spell reflection. Hmm. It's got a great face. The blocky multi-layered nose, broken a couple times. Mm, 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 mm. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, oh. You might live to regret that, Slager. Oh my god, it deflects them all. Ah, ah, ah. Whoa, he thinks he's gonna die. Wow. Alright, that's pretty fucking sick. What does it have against missiles? I assume it's got some kind. Oh, some kind of countermeasure. Oh my god, big Zam. Oh, what a shot. Ah ha ha ha. Honestly true, that's fucked up. Blah. Just barfs lasers. Let's touch tips? Okay, okay. I'm sorry. All right, let's do a sequence. Zoom, click, pop. Yeah, what was that for? What did Wait, what? But he can't because he's locked into your boat now. Okay, we're waving that flag now. I think Slager's super dead. That's my prediction here. Super dead. Kind of sad. Because he did a little bit of a cute, and I don't know how to... Whoa. I'm gonna shut up now. Oh my god, the fucking claws. Oh my god, Slager. Oh my god, it's got him. Pew pew. Okay, it works. It works a little bit. Oh wow, what? Wow, wow. Okay. Wow, what? What? Some of the coolest cuts over the course of the show are right there. Damn, Amuro. Damaro. Oh wow, 1v1 me. I think you'll be defeated. Whoa, the power. What the fuck? Looks like you will be defeated. Wow, it was him jumping away as himself, as a reaction. Wow. Is Slager Law still alive? Slager didn't die? He got knocked into space, but is he alive? He was wearing a suit. Ochitana. Okay, we get that info. I do not understand these mortals. Dude, he looks crazy. All right, because he's Oberstein. It's the voice. He's so good. He's so good. I do not understand this love between child and mother. I am psychopath. Whoa, Mirai face. Uso Janai. Uso Janaizo. Wow, an insert song. Hi, Frau. Wow, Slager's dead. I don't know how to feel about that. Ooh. Hi, Hayato. That was a cute cut. I love this. I love this. This insert song in this like moment of grief and like aftermath. I love it. I love it. I'm so glad for it. Needed it. And that's it. Whoa. Okay, there are some crazy sequences at like 1920. We'll talk about the episode overall in a moment, but there are some insane sequences here. Like, okay, Big Zam has us in its clutches, literally. Amuro fires this laser. It has an effect. It explodes, it explodes, it explodes. Damn them. Here, okay, so it's because the Gundam is right behind it. Because it feels like we keep doing these layers of things that explode out and transition into another scene in a really clever way, but it's just because the Gundam is right behind him. Because it's like, it's docked in, right? Explodes, we watch him fly out into space. Lieutenant, and he flies out into space. I think there's still a possibility that he could be alive, and we get this double flash from Amuro's eyes, shoves the gun into a port, fires it, and like leaves it to explode in there. Does the pull from the OP, like from the eye catch, like that's that pull, and does this insane floating upward, I know it's getting pixelated and shit, I'm sorry, insane floating upward, tosses the shield away, two hands straight down in, and starts whomping on this thing. Insane. Again, and then there's another one of those transition moments, I think. No, not really. We just come out to here, and we watch him fire, fire, fire for the glory of Zeon for my own pride. This is some sick shit. This is fucking rad. For the glory of Zeon, for my own pride. You will not defeat me. You will not defeat me. No matter what, I will go down swinging. That's a last stand from a bad guy, and I think it's rad. It's also the last of a sequence of moves that Dozle makes here that make me respect him a lot. Now, maybe not as much as I respect, say, Ramba Ral, because Ramba Ral is such an interesting character, and Dozle is pretty cut and dried, pretty clear cut, but again, he seems to care about his men. He is actively and knowingly, to some extent, there's a chance he thinks that he might win, but he's actively and knowingly sacrificing himself and the crew of his one mobile armor to get everybody else from Solomon out, right? He takes stock of his position in the battle. He takes stock of, like, he asks his subordinates, how many ships do we have left? Realizes that they're losing and decides to abandon instead of, like, making a last stand and doing this you will not defeat me with 1,000 human beings behind him, right? Like, that's the difference here, to me in my mind. A bad admiral, and maybe not even a bad one, but an arrogant asshole of an admiral would force all of his men to make the same stand. It's a thing that we see a bunch of times in Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Ding, 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 and it's the thing that differentiates Reinhard and Yang Wenli from a lot of the other generals and admirals in that show, is that they will make a stupid stand, and they will do it in a way that gets hundreds of thousands of men killed. Dozle doesn't do that. And Yang Wenli and Reinhard von Mussel don't do that, right? They don't do that because they're willing to die themselves for the cause. In this case, Dozle is, at least. Young and Reinhard kind of aren't, because they've got bigger goals, and that's important. But they're not willing to sacrifice all their men for it. And that's really... That feels visceral to me. There's something to that that's respectable in a really interesting way. Now, then we have this. Amuro freaking out, watching this shadow of, like, demonic vampiric stuff. Like, it's a bat, right? It's got bat ears and bat wings appear behind Dozle as this, like, I don't know what it is. I straight up don't know what this is, but it's this energy, this, like, psychic force that's coming off of this guy that absolutely throws Amuro off his game. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if this is the symbol of the Zabi family. I don't know if this is representative of, like, the nature of war. I don't know what the fuck this is. But it's fucking crazy as a visual sequence and as an emotional sequence for affecting Amuro. And I fucking love it. I think it's the coolest thing that's happened. It's one of the coolest things that's happened in Mobile Suit Gundam. It's absolutely insane. And boom. And he's gone. And Amuro, like, leaps away, has this reaction to leap away before that attack actually lands, right? Like, he sees it happen before it actually happens and is already jumping away before it can happen. We're really seeing his, like, power in play. And it's in part because of some really careful, like, production stuff and some choices to make these things happen in a specific order, in a specific way, from specific angles. And I think it's fucking cool. I think it's fucking cool. I've come around completely on the power and the way that it works, in a really interesting way. And then we turn our attention to Makabe, who, of course, doesn't seem to understand how humans work or, like, empathy or any of that shit. And this guy straight calls him out on it. All due respect, sir, but I don't think you understand how soldiers feel. I think it's actually earlier when we're talking about the taking in the escape pod. But damn, what an interesting sequence. It's kind of a weird... It's a feeling that it gives us that is, like, the last, like, really empathetic general. The last, like, great leader of the Zabi, like, of the Zeons, of the Zabi family, seems to have died today. Obviously, Cassilia is a great leader to some extent because a bunch of people follow her and she's very powerful. Like, you don't get there without reason. But all we've really seen of her is her interactions with, like, Makabe and the things that Makabe does for her. And he's an, like, zero empathy shithole. He's the worst. So we watch Dozle die in this genuinely evil, heroic way. Like, genuine heroism here for him to make this last stand is crazy. It's crazy. It's great. And now it feels like an actual loss to me. It feels like an actual loss of some element of the enemy that was not only powerful and not only a threat to us, but also, like, a good leader to some extent. And he goes out in a crazy classic Blood Knight fashion. And I think the fact that Dozle gives up so much to cause the harm that he causes, particularly that's emblematized to us as the death of Slegger, which we'll get to. It's a little weird because I don't know how to feel about Slegger as a character, and so I don't know how to feel about his death, right? Like, it's clear how I'm meant to feel and how the show wants me to feel, but again and continuously, it's done such a weird job of characterizing this weird guy that I don't know how to feel about him, and I don't know how to feel about losing him. But the show, like, Dozle gives up so much to cause that, and it's just a side effect of his goal, right? He wants to actually win here. But he gives up so much, and so it feels like it's an actual sacrifice in exchange for a sacrifice and in exchange for a loss. I think this episode has some of the coolest, most interesting little bits and pieces of storytelling that we've had in Gundam for a while, and I'm really excited by that. Okay, anyway. Visually, there were a couple of other moments in the episode that I thought were super cool. At about 1350 or so, there's this really great sequence of Amuro's face with shadow over one side that, like, takes over his face. And I fucking love the look of this. And to be clear, it's possible that Yas might have storyboarded some of this or something like that, but I don't think he did, and I don't know who was capable of this, right? Like, he comes around a corner and sees fully melted slag where GMs used to be, finds out that he's too late, wasn't there in time, and is pursuing the villain now, right? That's cool. That's cool. Just the shadowed face, I think, is super dope. Okay, and then I wrote down 1418, which is a moment later. There's all this effect stuff. It's still 5 minutes. Oh, okay. It's the Gundam run. I thought this was really good looking. I want to frame by frame it. Yeah, I wonder who did this, man. I think this looks great. And I think there are a couple of other segments of like really good looking stuff immediately after this. And also some cool stuff, like the way that Kai slips here, and then we immediately like, oh oops. Kai slips, foop, and then we start way in and we pull way out as he turns to create this effect as he goes like, what? Is really effective to me. It's really effective. That's something that I'll say about this episode is including the shot of Amuro leaping away and then the Gundam leaping away. There's a lot of really good meshing of the characters' actions being similar to or like equivalent to or related to the actions or experiences of the whole mobile suit as a whole. Like, you could do this scene of a slip without a mobile suit there. It's like a character slips, you watch their foot go out from under them, and then you do this whoosh from like pulling out away from them, and you get the feeling of them falling back, and it works that way. But it also works to imbue the scene with a feeling of like, that's Kai feeling like that feeling of vertigo or that feeling of weirdness as he falls backward in his mobile suit. It's like, it's just really good little bits and pieces of sort of, it's not quite character acting, but it's like the relationship between the suit and the user. And I think that's really cool and very important. And it's one of the things that I like very much about more advanced mecha shows. Like I quite like it about Evangelion. There's a significant relationship and a feeling of oneness when the users are in their mobile suits. Like they seem to feel genuine pain as their Evas are getting pummeled or getting beaten or getting hurt by angels or whatever, right? They seem to feel that. And that feeling of like oneness with the suit, I think makes the suits more of an extension of the character in a really cool way that I really appreciate and I think is good here. And honestly, it could be more. Like, there are just hints of this. And that's something that I think is true about a lot of the stuff in Gundam. Because of the nature of the show, because of the pace of the show, because of the aforementioned in our opening discussion, need to have a battle sequence every episode and need to have a transformation sequence every episode so that we can sell toys and all that shit. A lot of stuff is like experimented with and then never really come back to, or just shows up in little bits and pieces of what mecha anime can be, and it's like they haven't figured out which parts are actually truly really effective yet and honed in on using those more, right? Because there's a bunch of battle sequences in Gundam that are kind of like and then there are a couple of like little elements that are like, wow, that was awesome, like that was rad. And similarly, it's like, wow, there are a couple of moments in Gundam where the emotions of the characters inside are reflections of the things that they're doing in battle and the way that everything works, and like feeling that vibe with the characters is really what hooks us in. And yet sometimes it pulls away from that and is like, but what you really want to see is beam battles for like 5 minutes straight, right? And the answer is no, not really. I want to see beam battles with emotional stakes. And they haven't figured out quite that mesh of everything yet. It's like, it's really like watching something early and kind of experimental, because there are all these elements that are perfect, but they're not used enough. And all these elements that are non-existent and or they kind of suck, and then they're used too much, right? Like that's what I was trying to say there. And I think that this moment of him falling back and then being a part of it, and then Amuro jumping away and then that being a part of it, is really cool. Okay, so these are also really cool sequences. They remind me of Dragon's Heaven because of the like texture of everything. and it almost looks like sand blowing away, but it's beam blasts blowing away. I actually really like this scene of Dozle zipping himself up and then putting on his helmet. I can't tell you exactly why I like it, but it feels like a preparatory scene. It feels like this is Dozle prepping for his own death, in a way. Like, he doesn't necessarily know that he's going to die here. He still thinks he's going to win to some extent. But that's how it feels to me. It feels like suiting up and putting on his armor for the last time. Like in a, maybe in a samurai movie, you like, for the last time, pull out the plated scale mail like armor that samurai will wear and put on the big helmet with the thing, and you're like, I'm in it now. Or like Game of Thrones character putting on their armor for what will be the last time. It feels like that to me, and it's cool. I like it. It's preparation, and it works really well to ramp stakes as we go on through the episode. And I think this episode does that pretty effectively. Okay, so Bright dismisses Mirai in order to give her time to breathe for a second. And it's kind of cute. It's kind of a cool moment. I do wonder what's up with this, like this sort of thing, and if there's like meant to be a thing between Bright and Mirai. And then it all gets sort of shattered. I also really love this three-piece cut-in, where we cut all our characters into 3 parts. And it's just Amuro's eye in the corner. That's fucking cool. Only missiles will work, or getting closer. That's fucking cool. I also really like these close-ups of Dozle's face. If I didn't know better, I would say these are Yas cuts, right? Because they're very expressive, and Dozle's face is a great design, I think. Again, I mentioned it while it was happening, but like the broken brow nose, the big teeth, like chiclet big-ass teeth, all these elements of his character, the like furrowed, like deep-set Neanderthal-esque brow, all these things make him like a really character-y character. And then he turns to the camera and is just like, he's like an ogre, right? And that's, I think, that part of his character design, the fact that he's got these like cheekbones that are like all of his facial features feel like they should be making martial arts noises. Like his brow line is like hoo-yah! And his nose is like it's crazy, it's huge. But he's like an ogre, right? And so we kind of expect him to act like an ogre, but he doesn't. He acts like a really serious commander who actually cares about his men, and that's so cool, I think. Don't be deceived by appearances to some extent. But at the same time, he's a vicious warrior and a serious battler, and he's out there to die for his people and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. Okay, so there's some serious, like, Sliger Law foreshadowing death stuff, and we gotta talk about this. We just have to. Alright, man. Look, it's been a weird run with Sliger. It's been a fucking weird run. Bright dismisses Mirai. Mirai goes off through some stuff. Sliger also happens to come back because his ship is harmed, and he goes and he eats a single patty hamburger, his last meal. Mirai comes in, is happy to see him, glad he's not dead, and it's immediately like, wait, what the fuck is happening? And he tells her she shouldn't wear her heart on her sleeve, and tells her he's not good enough for her. I agree. But it doesn't make her feelings any less valid, or necessarily his feelings any less valid. And we do this fucking whole song and dance around it. Please make it back alive. Immediately, as soon as somebody says that, he's not making it back alive. 0 chance. When you're young, it keeps going into this zone of, like, giving advice and shit. When I don't feel like... This is my problem with Sliger Law. Sliger Law keeps giving advice, and I don't feel like Sliger Law has any right to give anybody advice about anything. I think there's this weird feeling like maybe he's figured some shit out, but I don't feel like he's figured any shit out. He's just chaos. He's just insane and, like, weird. And American and like, weird and theatrical and a jerk and weird. Like, I don't fucking get it, man. I don't get the character. I do get this romance that we build up between them, but I don't feel like it's built up, right? Like, 2 episodes ago, he ran across a ship and backhanded Mirai real hard to tell her to respect the feelings of Cameron, who was, like, doing I don't get it. You shouldn't take your own he dismisses her feelings, and I'm like, okay, Sliger is letting her down easy. To some extent. It is fucked up. And then he's like, you shouldn't take your feelings too seriously, but here's a wedding ring. What the fuck, man? What? It's a shitty ring, but it's all I have left of my mom, so it matters a ton, right? You hold on to it. To me, and this is the part where like it's actually serious, right? Sliger goes from nothing can affect me, and I like this part. I actually like this part. This is the best part of Sliger's whole arc, I think. He goes from this flippant guy who's like, oh, you seem to be interested in me. Well, don't take your shit too seriously. I'm a fuckboy, right? And he sort of seems to realize that he's kind of a fuckboy. And then he takes a step back and says, you're out of my league, girl. I'm fucked up. I'm a weird soldier guy. I kind of suck. And you dazzle me. And that is human. That feeling of like, don't try this. It's not going to work. You're going to find out that I'm a piece of shit, man. Like, you're just going to hurt both of us. You and I are worlds apart. Like, this will never work. I'm not good enough for you. Suddenly, it's a real, true, genuine moment from Sliger. And it's like the first time that he's ever felt this genuine to me. Now, there have been other times where he's given some advice to people or whatever, but it's always felt kind of flippant. It's always felt kind of like, it's like when he slaps her, tells her that Cameron is like putting his life on the line for her, and then goes, like he's said the most insightful thing in the world. It's like, no, dude, no. But this, I don't know. There's something to it that's actually wholesome. I hate it. No, I don't. I hate that it works this well for a character that I want to just be able to dismiss, and yet they gave him something that I can't dismiss, which is a real genuine moment of opening up and showing that behind all of his bravado and all of his acting is a person with some insecurities and with some like feeling of who he is and stuff. So hold on to this ring for me. I don't want to lose it out there in space. And then we get knocked around and knocked together, and we have a little moment. And we have Sliger Law giving us the eyes. And Mirai goes in for the kiss, and he responds. And away he goes. Look after that ring, Ensign. And he's gone. Gone around the corner. And it's a weird feeling for Mirai. She doesn't know what to feel here. Just says Chewy. But then she goes back to her post. And then Sliger dies. Unceremoniously to some extent. As part of an important mission, for sure. Defeating the Big Zam is crucial. But then he dies. Man, I don't know how to feel about it. I think it's good. I think it's actually good. The moment where his facade falls away. There's something to that that's like, that's good writing. That's solid. But in context of all the other things that Sliger Law has been and done over the course of the show, I still think he's a clusterfuck of a character, and I don't love him. I don't love his presence. I do like this moment, though. I do like this moment. I think it's good. I think it works. I think it's effective. And I think we want to leave off with one other moment that I think works and is good and is effective. Which is, we see the repercussions on this side, and then we see the repercussions on this side. Mirai's face of shock, everyone's moment, now a familiar moment of loss and grief for someone who is part of our crew. And a confusing moment, because everyone else in the crew also has their own confusing feelings about Sliger Law. Because everyone else sees him as this weird fuckboy, but now he's dead. And shit, it's hard to speak ill of the dead. And he went out in a crucial way, And he saved, to some extent, he saved all of us. And it's clear that Mirai cared for him deeply. And we all watch her go and cry. And he's not the only one. There is death throughout, and injury throughout, and everybody is a part of this battle, and everybody is a part of this experience of war. And for the first time, literally ever in the show, we take like 45 seconds, like a full minute almost, when we put in an insert song, and we give our characters time to be in the aftermath, to feel like their accomplishments have happened, but they're tarnished by the death and loss of their peers and friends, and potential loves lost. And nobody speaks to each other in this whole sequence. Nobody comforts each other. Nobody's capable of doing that. And the kids go on being kids, not really understanding or knowing what's going on. And this, for the first time to me, we get this moment to feel. And God, oh God, it's crucial. Gosh, oh gosh, it's necessary. And I'm very, very glad that it's here. And so we end this episode with a significant and serious sense of finality as our characters exist in the same place together in this terrible dream that is their lives, this nightmare that is war, and this existence as a weird hodgepodge family that is the crew of White Base. And that's where we're going to pick up next week. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode to some extent. Let me know if there are things that I've missed, or if you have your own thoughts about Slegger, or about Dozel, or about the way this battle plays out, or about any of the other ideas that have been presented either in the show or by me. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for us. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for your patience waiting for me to get less sick and be back recording. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you next week for more Mobile Suit Gundam. We'll see what happens next time. Yeah. Appreciate ya. Some cool stuff in this episode, some sad stuff in this episode. See you next week for more. Peace.